Okay, Amy, so
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect.
And so what I guess we should do is go ahead and introduce the idea of what we're gonna accomplish here. I would like for you to go through the process of accessing one of the applications through any of the campuses
Okay.
and discussing how the kids will actually go through the application process. I have a document that I want to share that shows our end at the FFA office, what we get from LCTCS and what we do to verify membership. So when a kid does click that box that says, yes, I'm an FFA, they actually see that the scholarship's not automatic. We actually have to verify it in the FFA office. And if that takes us 10 minutes, or 20 minutes, that'll be fine as long as it takes for us to accomplish that. Once again, this is an idea to leave a video opportunity for people to see how the process works. As simple as okay. So if you want to share your screen, whatever shows up here in our webinar is what'll be recorded by our 1928 guest recorder.
All right, sounds good. Well, my name is Amy Cable. I'm the Executive Director of Enrollment Management here at LCTCS, and I'll first just introduce the idea of this scholarship that this partnership has created. So for students who apply to any of our 13 community colleges and who are an FFA graduate, they may be eligible for a $500 one-time scholarship to any of our campuses. And the students would contact their chapter advisor for some additional details. But that's kind of the whole purpose, is to try to find students who may be eligible for this scholarship. So in order to apply to one of our colleges, I'm going to go to BRCC. And from the BRCC main homepage, let's see if I can get to their main homepage. Any new students can go to this New Student tab and then select Apply Now. And then they select Submit an Application. And most of these students are going to be first-time students, so they would just select this link here. And then they're going to select Admissions Application. And this is where the admissions application begins. So because these are going to be first-time freshmen, you're going to have to create a new account. So when they do the sign-up link here, they would enter their first name, last name, email address, re-enter, password, and then apply now. And then that's going to take them into the admissions application. This will allow the students to continue to use that same email address to apply to multiple colleges for multiple terms. And it's basically one username and password for any of our institutions. They can go back in and check the status of their application if they didn't submit it. So maybe they started the app but did not complete it. They can go back in later on and complete the application at a later date if they'd like to, and they can save it. So because I'm a user already, I am going to log in to the application. And then this is where we'll kind of walk through what it looks like on the student side. Let me go back one more time too. And then once the student actually gets into the application, the student will be able to select the term that they want to apply for. So these students may want to apply for fall of 2018, so they would select that indicator and it would walk them through the fall 18 application. So because I have an application live already, I'm just going to walk right over here. So the first tab, you'll see it's tabbed at the very top, and each of the little reds will indicate that it's a mandatory field. And the first tab is just basic information. So name, email address, phone number. We have some residency questions on whether or not the student lived in Louisiana for a certain period of time, mailing address, and demographics, and then their race and ethnicity is here at the bottom. And once they select this information, they're just going to do Save and Continue. And then it's going to ask different questions about prior education. So if one of our students today says that they're enrolled in high school, that's okay. This just kind of helps us to determine what the student type is going to be, whether they're a new first-time freshman, if they're a transfer student, and there's skip logic in here. So if they just indicate yes and no's, it's gonna show them different questions based on how they asked questions. So if I say, are you still enrolled in high school? Yes, then it's going to say, will you be in high school when starting classes? If these are graduating seniors, they would say no. And that just kind of help walks the student through a various sets of questions. Then they're going to say save and continue. A little bit of a delay. Then it asks for some emergency contact information under the miscellaneous tab. The supplemental data is how did you learn about us? The highest level of education completed by the parent. And this is the important part. So these are the questions right here that help us identify the FFA. So any of your entering freshmen would say, are you a member of any of the following organizations? If they are an FFA member, they would select that. And then that data is used to provide back to you so that you can do the verification of those members. Once a student actually selects that, there's another secondary question that says, are you a Louisiana FFA Career Development Event, CDE or Leadership Development Event, LDE State Champion? And then they can mark yes or no here as well. And again, this information is used to send back to you for verification. And then we can say yes and save and continue. The next is educational goals. So a student can actually search by campus or by major. So if I wanted to select by campus, I could say which campus am I interested in attending, and it gives me all the locations for Baton Rouge Community College. So let's just say the Mid-City campus, and then I can select the major. And the majors are going to show up based on how they've identified the student type. I think I'm marked as non-degree seeking in here, so that's why there's no majors showing. But all the majors for any of these campuses would actually show up. If I wanted to come up here for major, then it would say which majors. So then I have all the list of majors that show. So let's say that I want to do process technology. Then it allows me to actually set the site of where I want to go. So process technology is only offered at the central site. If I wanted to pick another type of major, so like the Louisiana transfer, for example, then I can select the Mid-City campus because that's the only campus that the transfer option is available at. And then I can select a concentration. So if I wanted to do business, I can choose business. So there's different ways to search for majors or by campus, depending on how you want to search for this. So I'm going to be a Louisiana transfer, Mid-City business concentration. And save and continue. And there's some questions about dependent, veteran and dependent information. This helps us identify veteran students or dependents of veterans. If students fall into some of these categories, this allows students to register early and maybe get some other type of benefit that the college may be able to offer if you are marked as a veteran or dependent. So I'm none, so I'm going to say no and save. And now this is where the student can look up their high school information. So you can enter, East Baton Rouge here, or I can just do a high school lookup, and I can do it by state, Louisiana, to Baton Rouge, and then it's going to provide a list of all the high schools in Baton Rouge. So let's do East Baton Rouge Arts and Technology, and then I can choose. And then it'll automatically pre-populate the data here for us. And then I'm going to save and continue. And if I had previous college, I would work the same way. So I could put Louisiana State University here, or I could just look up the college if I happen to have any prior college credit, and it works the same exact way. And then it pre-populates here. Now, to be admitted to any of our colleges, students do have to have immunization records either on file or they have to choose a waiver. And then if you are male, you have to be registered with the Selective Service. Those are the only two admissions requirements that we require here to any of our any of our colleges. Now, some programs may request additional information. So, for example, nursing might actually require you to submit an actual high school transcript and other documentation, whereas if you wanted to do the Louisiana transfer degree, you only have to have the application, the immunization records or waiver, and the Selective Service requirement if you're male. So I have two options. I can do one where I'm going to submit my records, and that means the student will have to submit their immunization records to the institution. Or two, they can do an immunization waiver, and that just means that they do not have to turn in any of their shot records, and the waiver is easiest, so I'm going to do the waiver. And then it does ask, how old are you? So if I'm 18 years of age or older, then I have to put in my name here. If I'm not over the age of 18 or older, then it asks for the parent or guardian signature. So then the parent or guardian would put their signature here. So because I'm over the age of 18, I'm going to mark that I want the waiver. I'm 18 or over, and Amy Cable, and I'm going to save it. And then there's a certification box here, and this just means that the student is applying to admissions to all of our colleges, but some programs may require some additional criteria, and that you do have to submit any academic records where appropriate, immunization records where appropriate, and Selective Service registration. And now you're done. So submit your application. And then assuming that you are in a non-selective admissions program like nursing, you could be admitted to one of our colleges within probably less than 24 hours if you do the waiver. And this might take a second. Okay, so now my admissions application has been submitted, and I should be getting some emails from Baton Rouge Community College kind of letting me know what my next steps are. And it's going to log me out. And then I'm just going to walk you through how you can see the status of your application. So if you go back into the admissions application, take a second. Sorry, this is the right here. So we're going to go right here and log in. And so now I have a spring application. My application was successfully submitted on today's date, and I'm a freshman application. So it's completed now, so I can't go back in and edit it because it's completed and it was submitted. But I can go in and download this application if I need to, so I can print it if I would like. So it gives me a print option here. It also gives me this, if I ever needed something to just show that I did apply for admissions, that other indicator right here, print acknowledgement slip, just shows me that acknowledgement that I did on the very back end. And then once that's done, you'll start getting emails from the college letting you know what your next steps are so that you can actually get registered for classes. And are there any questions?
Amy, wonderful. I would like to share my screen to show what happens on the FFA side of things.
Okay.
So I took out all identifiable information on this sheet today, this Excel document. This was one that was sent to us before the holidays, and even the banner IDs I took off so they wouldn't be identifiable. No first names, no last names. I kind of changed everybody's name to D, V, B, D.
Gotcha.
And even the schools are abbreviated. But this will be what we get in the FFA office. We get the school that they applied to. We get the student's first name, last name, and the name of their school. And I even took the names of the schools and made them shorten them. But what we do is we send back to LCTCS after we look up member verification. We send it back in kind of a form here that's either green for yes or red for no. So we make it kind of color coded so it's easier for you guys to tell that yes, this kid was an FFA upon graduation, and know that they weren't. So we have to go through the FFA roster through our National FFA login and verify, based on the kid's name and school, if they're an FFA member. So even though they apply, this is the type of document we get, and then we send it back to verify that those kids were actually FFA members, and it's sent to us automatically from the system after it's aggregated up. I think we've set it up weekly before, we set it up monthly, and now we're talking about doing one big batch in July.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So for all the kids watching the video and trying to apply, you have to actually be an FFA member, even though it's clicking that button. It's not the end all tell all of whether or not you'll get the scholarship.
Yes. And good. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and once that's verified, the student would be working with the financial aid department at that institution. They're going to be the responsible party for actually awarding that scholarship. So once that big batch is sent from us to you, and then that verification is sent back to us, then we'll work with the financial aid departments to identify those students who met that match so that the offer can go out to those students so they can choose if they would like to accept the offer and attend one of our colleges.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on and explaining this to us and giving us a visual so that maybe our students and teachers can log in and actually watch it and get an idea of what the application looks like and get over some of the fear of the unknown. Once again, you can go to any of the campus websites and it all links to the exact same application that we saw at BRCC. So just because you use BRCC as an example doesn't mean that we can't use it for any of the campuses. From what I understand, Dr. Campbell, it all links to the same thing. Ms. Jody, yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
You broke up. What was the question?
I was just asking if you had any questions. If not, we're through.
Okay, one quick question. Is the Cottonport Community College part of the SLCC system?
No, ma'am.
Okay, it's not.
No, ma'am. Where is that located?
Cottonport, Louisiana. I thought it was part of the Louisiana. Did I get the acronym
Maybe
correct?
The name might be wrong. Hold on. Cottonport, Louisiana. Let's see where that's located. Oh, Lordy. Hold on a second. I'm not a Louisiana native, so I'm not real sure where that's located.
Avoyelles Parish.
Is it like Central Louisiana? Maybe it's CLTCC.
It could be.
Yeah, Central Louisiana is, let me see, CLTCC. Yeah, Central Louisiana Technical College. They have several different campuses. They have one in Alexandria. So if that's in that same little area, then yes, we do have a college that serves that region, and it's Central Louisiana Technical Community College. They have a campus in Alexandria, Rod Brady, Oakdale, Sabine Valley, Huey P. Long, Ward Avoyelles, Lamar, Faraday, and Natchitoches. So they've got multiple campuses in that area.
And that was that Cenla?
Yes, Central or Cenla is the same. Yeah, we use those terms interchangeably. Okay.
No, sometimes I get very acronymed out.
I understand.
It's unbelievable.
I'm a former financial aid director, so I understand. FSA, FAFSA.
All right. Well, Amy, I don't have any more questions. I know Baton Rouge traffic is going to be tough for you getting out of there, and we appreciate you taking your time to.
Okay, no problem at all. And if you have any other questions, my department here at the system office is we kind of do a lot of central enrollment processing. So if students ever have questions about the admissions application or, you know, kind of like the next steps, they can always email us at enrollment@lctcs.edu. And they can also call us at 1-844-GO-LCTCS, and that will get them a live agent here at the system office, and we can help with enrollment and admissions for all of the 13 campuses.
Spectacular. Thank you so much for coming
All right,
on.
you're welcome. No problem. Thank